Hey guys, so before this episode starts, I just wanted to briefly talk about where I've been and what I've been doing. I actually talked about it a little later in the episode as well, but I've been extremely busy with work and just everything else that's going on with life, with getting back to school and everything here in a couple weeks. So I haven't really had all that much time to record or just really play um, like off camera as well and do work there. And so you can kind of see that in this episode. I did do some work, especially in terms of mining and everything else, but there really hasn't been all that much time to do anything really more than what you've seen. Um, uh, and I want to apologize about that. Right now, here, as you can see, obviously, as I'm doing a little bit of iron mining, but there's really just not much time I can spend on doing this at the moment. I hope this will change in the future, but just right now, please deal with the infrequency of the videos and the poor upload schedule. I'm sorry about that, but let's get into the video. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Space Engineers. I have done a bunch of work between episodes, so let's get this started. First things first, you might notice that finally was able to completely get rid of the entire that starter base that we had. Um, I moved everything inside, all the resources, everything we had inside. So let's give the little tour. Ouch. I actually moved the medkit down here because I was kind of getting nervous with having it upstairs. But this is what the storage room now looks like. Here, let's turn the lights off so you can actually tell with all the lights and everything I put in there. Also, I did end up flipping the windows so that the tinted, so we get like the clear view, um, rather than having it the tinted side because when I put lights in there, none of the light went through. Like you could see, but you couldn't really see. Next thing is I have this cargo container here. This one is very special. It's the only one like it. This one actually has, I don't know if you can see it right there. There's a conveyor sorter there that is drain all. So anything I get put in here gets automatically removed and put into the storage system. This way, this is essentially a dump all. I can just dump everything in here and I won't have to worry about this container filling up or anything like that. It'll all go into those the cargo containers, and we won't have to worry about it. Also, I did put the assemblers in, so I have four sets of two assemblers. They're connected to the conveyor underneath like this, and they're just straight up like this. They're all in cooperative mode, so that way when I wrong button. So when I go into production and say I want, I don't know, 100 Kachuk smoke cones, it just makes them all, like, immediately. Um, I could module it up if I wanted to. I don't think assemblers can actually take yield modules. Yeah, they can't. So I would just put speed modules on them. It's not that big of a deal, and there's room to improve. I have it going even with all the refineries. If I wanted to, I could have two more sets of four, so I could essentially double my current assembly speed if I for some reason need that in the future. I find it unlikely unless I'm going to be producing like millions of steel plates or something here, which I don't really see because I'm hoping that by the point we're creating stuff that large, we'll be up in space. But who knows? Also, a few other things, put some more lights around so that's a little bit brighter, as you can probably tell because you guys aren't like not able to see anything. And then the last part of the conveyor system that I added was this cargo container up here. This is essentially like a builder. This one does not drain. That way I can take stuff out of it if I'm building up here or whatever I might need this for. Probably have some of those like spread out throughout the entire base. So that way, in areas where like I'm not by the refineries and can just draw from the refinery, we actually have something to give us materials. So that's pretty much the whole base. I mean, in functionality wise, nothing is done. It has refining, it has assembly, and it has storage. It doesn't have any hydrogen and oxygen production, which we will eventually need. Um, but the thing I want to do now is give our vehicles somewhere to park. You know, we need a hangar system for these guys because they're just sitting out here, just soaking up the sunlight to recharge their batteries. And I would like to bring them inside so that they can charge, but also so that I can actually, access the inventories and more easily move things over. Because at this point in time, if I were to like say go out and get a set of iron, I'd have to manually transfer it all into that cargo container or into the one downstairs, and that just does not sound like fun. So the goal is to make our hangar, which will be back here. We're gonna be mine out there. I think we'll go in both directions. Maybe we'll probably mine, I don't know, I want to say about 20 blocks past this one here ish. We'll see how that feels size wise. We'll have to go up a bit for various items and things, and then we'll have to go lengthwise, probably a good amount in both directions, and that will probably be at least our hangar for while we're here on this planet. While I'm going to get this unknown signal, there's a couple of things I was thinking about to make this just a little bit more interesting, rather because we'll be getting into space soon. And once we get into space, it's very easy to get platinum and just start making um, let's see what we get. Nothing. It'll be very easy to get platinum and just use those types of thrusters, the ones that just run off energy. And once we get uranium, having reactors, it kind of just makes it so any sort of interesting building, like it just essentially nullifies the use of uh, um, hydrogen and specifically hydrogen thrusters, but also Atmo, but less so because Atmo will still have a use in atmosphere. Just hydrogen won't really, except it's a little bit more powerful. And so what I'm thinking about, like putting restrictions just on myself, is that we can't make thrusters until I don't know what point we're gonna put remove the restriction at. Maybe say we get to maybe not the moon, but maybe when we finally get to another planet, we'll be like, oh, okay, so we finally figured out how to get platinum, or use platinum to make thrusters that work. I think that might be a good idea to just make it so that we don't just completely nullify everything, you know? Um, in that way, and also another restriction I want to do is even after we do lift that one, I want to make maybe another stage where we can't build like shipboard reactors, you know? It would make sense that a ship reactor is way more complicated than, say, a station reactor or a reactor that I can just put downstairs. And so if you're thinking about it, what I want to do is make it so that we have to find another means of power to power those. And what I'm thinking is because the platinum or the what are those thrusters called? The ion thrusters, they kind of nullify hydrogen thrusters in space. Is that until we can figure out how to build small reactors to put on ships, what we'll do is we'll use these hydrogen engines to produce lots of power. So that way we can still use hydrogen and don't completely get rid of that part of the game where we still need to harvest ice and stuff like that for, stuff other than oxygen, which I think will be a really I don't know how it'll act since we're still on this planet with air. But I think it'll be really cool to put that restriction so that I don't just because I've played through this game. I don't want to say through because it's sandbox, but I've played this game a couple of times. And once you get into space, what you can do is there's like freighters that um there's these factions and some of them are just undiscovered. They're just like freighter companies, and there's some freighters that just go through space, and you can just hijack one of them, steal the thrusters, deconstruct it so you can get the platinum, and you can just produce whatever you want out of it. And it kind of gets rid of the whole uh, like uh, having to go and find it because it's right there. Because platinum isn't in the meteor or like the asteroids or whatever that's around the planet. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen it at least, but it's on other planets farther away. And so by attacking those freighters, you can essentially skip a portion of the game, which I've done in the past, and it was nice because I wanted to like figure out that was still while I was learning the game. But now that I know a little bit more and like I kind of want to enjoy the process a little bit more, I can put that restriction on myself so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, enough talking. Let's actually get mining or working here. This thing's almost out of power. Let's just see this. I mean, you're not going to see most of this anyways. You're getting 13 kilowatts out. That's horrendous. Fully recharged and fully depleted. This thing is so. No, don't discharge, recharge. Fully recharged in 35 days. That sucks. But it's alright. I think it'll last, I hope. Maybe I turn off these gyros. If I do that, does that fully recharged in negative 130 days? That just shows how how bad this current solar panel is because the sun is going down and it's going to continue to get worse. Yeah, see now we're down to 12. So that's tough. But either way, I mean, I'm gonna get working. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of work for me to get this entire area dug out. What I'll do is I'll dig the floor in like lower level with this thing, and then I'll switch into the flying miner to get the rest. But yep, that's what I'm gonna be doing for the next little while, and I'll see you after this. Okay, so I dug out at least part of the hangar, and so yeah, it's kind of a big area. Essentially, what I have done so far is just like the width of the tunnel in, but starting from here, I have it going 31 blocks that way. And the reason for that is that I think that, well, it needs to be an odd number. That way I can have a conveyor running down the middle, obviously, because symmetry is important to people like me. And the other reason is that I potentially plan on having the 15 blocks closest to this wall or this side be like the parking spots or area for vehicles to be parked in, and then say the 15 blocks on this half will be for actually moving the vehicles in and out of the hangar. And I kind of realized that. Well, I mean, I realized this ages ago when it was kind of intentional when I initially built this thing, but this is like a small entrance. It's meant for small vehicles. And so essentially what will eventually happen is we'll probably dig an entrance at that end of the hangar, much bigger, probably about 4 times the size of this, maybe even more than that, especially taller for like large grid vehicles. Now, what I'm thinking is for like lengthwise, I think what I'll do is I'll just have the hangar dig out essentially to the end of the this elevator, like this way, that many, that many blocks, and then go that way a ton. Um, probably about 50 blocks that way. That way I have plenty of space and I never need to expand the hangar. That's the hope. And I'll have to dig pretty high. Probably, again, probably about 4 times this height. That way I can have lots of large grid vehicles. Jeez. But the hope is to never have to rebuild or dig out any additional area for the hangar, unlike the tunnel entrances, which were planned to be, this one was planned to be small. There's another one that's planned to be large, probably down that side, and then I'm probably going to have like a air one for ships and stuff, maybe in the middle or above this one. That way small ships can get in and out. And the plan is kind of to have each vehicle go through their own sort of entrance. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. Everything about the big one, but I think it'll look cool that way. Just let me have that. Just let me have the looks. That's all I really care about anymore. Because once we get into space, this will pretty much all be moot, except for being a cool building that I can come to every once in a while. It will have tons and tons of refining power on. But yeah, so that's where I'm now. I mean, it's probably gonna be a while to dig this out, but for you, it'll be a snap. Okay, so I have excavated out a very, very, very large area over here. We can check it out. So I think I made it 50 blocks this way. Just for now. I'm not sure how far I want to end up going, but I think this will be good enough to start the hangar. And if you were to make a path out, you'd see it only come out like right here, which isn't really that much of a difference. So I kind of want to go out another while, but then we get into a mountain. Like, I don't know what I want to do. That's the moral of the story, is I just don't know what I want to do. But this needs to go up now. And I guess while I start doing that, I just wanted to talk about some stuff later in this video. I think I'll probably have recorded something at the start of this video, and if I do, I'm sorry for repeating myself. However, there's a reason for that, and that is, hang on 1 second. Why am I not going? Oh, right. There we go. There we go. Now we can actually do something. And what I wanted to talk about was the fact that I am sorry for the lack of videos and stuff. I'm actually recording this entire. I've been slowly working over this the last couple of days, and I haven't been able to record really, and that is because I have been very, very, very busy with work and just have not had the time to do that, to record. Look at this thing. This is really close. So I'm going to get that. We'll see what I get, but I've been really, really busy, and this has been like over several days that I've been finally even just gotten around to doing this work, which has been taking a while. It's why the Riftbreaker series hasn't been being uploaded either. Just been way too busy for most everything with work, and so I apologize for that, and I hope to continue making videos, but it's going to be slow for the time being. What do we get? Nothing. That's lame. But yeah, I'm sorry about that, and I'm sorry for making you guys listen to it a second time if I did put something at the beginning of this video. But outside of that, I do guys hope you forgive me. There's not much I can do about it. I gotta actually work, so. But now that we have this mined, I can finally start raising the ceiling, and and that will be some actually good progress on this. Okay. You can tell it's taken so long for me to do this because the battery is pretty much full. We're at 3 megawatts out of a maximum 3 megawatts, so yeah, we're pretty much full. Oh, also, I'm just thinking about this, but I want to update this welder. It was great for while it lasted, but it needs to be bigger and better and have more storage space. Because if I have to refill after every 30 block or like 50, 60 blocks, I'll never get this thing welded up. How much battery do you have? You only got 2. I see. Okay. Alright, let's turn you on. Hmm. I just really don't want to break something on my miner. So sorry if I'm kind of being a little quiet to focus on this. It's pretty vertical. That looks about as vertical as we're gonna get. Okay. Okay. I just needed an area so I can get into this and start mining. You see, I just needed to get up here far enough I can actually start mining. Wish there was a better way to see where I'm at. But whatever. Why can't I mine? There you go. Okay. Just gotta double check everything that happened. Good, I did make it far enough over so I didn't ruin the ceiling in the other part. That was my biggest worry there, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how to do this in any sort of like methodical way because there's just such a large area. Okay, let's make sure I don't go too far. I think that'll have to be good enough. Okay. I think I need to go a little bit further. I'm pointing pretty far downwards right now. Oh. Alright, let's make a path down this way. Really what I'm just trying to do is get a area where I can build onto that floor miner. So that way I can expand his mining arsenal. Because what I did, I don't know if you saw it when I flew over it, was I just essentially put miners on it to the side. And so if I could just put miners above it and mine this whole area out, it'd be a lot easier. than having to use this thing. It'll be more methodical, it'll be more everything, but getting to that point is obnoxious, to say the least. Okay, and I'm probably breaking everything on this thing, so I'm gonna have to make sure I repair this afterwards. How much time do I have? 47 minutes. That should be plenty to get what I want done. Alrighty. It's a nice big area to get the other miner just built up. So I'm just trying to think of how I want to say this. This is probably gonna be a shorter episode. I don't actually have all that much work to show done. I mean, this is a good bit, but there's nothing like recording wise that you guys want to see, really. Unless you want me to just keep showing this off, but I don't think you do. Might be easier to just mine like this. Interesting. That's really loud. But yeah, there's not much I can do this episode without, unless you guys are fine with me just not uploading more frequently for the next little bit. The next episode I kind of plan on adjusting that welder so that because I'm gonna need to weld the floor so I can mine all of this. And that'll make it a lot easier. I'll do the auto projecting and welding start. That'll be really nice. At least that's the plan for it. And I have an idea of how I want to do that already. It's just going to take a little bit of resources, which isn't that big of an issue, really. Because now that we have all our processors and stuff for the assemblers, making anything is going to be a lot easier. Now we just need the vehicles and the space, really, to make said vehicles, and then we'll have pretty much anything we could ever want. Alright, I think that's enough space. So let's go ahead and take this dude back out here. Looks like I hit the other miner, or that little flying thing. I finally figured out why this thing was breaking the thing when I tried to pick it up, these windmill things. It was the atmospheric thrusters. Notice how they're on the same line as the that landing pad or landing foot or whatever you want to call it. So whenever I try to grab it, the things, it would break it. That was what was happening. I didn't realize it, but notice how these were right here. When these fired, they broke that. Right, we can do Control Plus to cycle. See that damage readout there? It was just totally breaking it, which I totally didn't even realize. But there we go. That was the problem there. It's not a huge area, but I think it'll be a good enough area to at least start adding onto this thing. Yeah, see, here you can see what I did. I had a battery to counterweight because the thing has such a small wheelbase, and I just added miners off to the side. Okay, let's get this thing moved over into the area we just set up to build onto it. Okay, let's see. I have these strips here. You can see where the strips of where I mined are. So let's put this thing right in the middle of this one. There we go. Okay, and then I need plates. Lots and lots of plates. All right, now the mine should work if I. Yeah, now they do. But my camera's all messed up now because I can't zoom in enough. can't tell if we're doing any mining right now because we're in the area that I mined with the flyer. I just cannot get straight. There we go. We should also be mining now. Yeah, we are. You can see it up top. And we're not leaving any debris behind, which is the most important part. It's also mining a lot better. I don't know why, but when I was mining these little strips, like I had to keep slowing down because like the ground wouldn't update quick enough, and I would run into the ground or the rock and whatnot and get bumped around. So I had to constantly slow myself down, which was super annoying. But this looks like I can just go, I don't want to say full speed because I'm only going 1.6 meters, but mining speed, I guess, which is way nicer. And we're almost at the end. There we go. That's one whole strip done. And now yeah, that was a good amount of area too. Look at that. Look at all this area here that we got mined. And it's way nicer than with the flyer. Yeah, so that's what I'll do. Between episodes, I'll keep mining with this thing. I'll figure out what to do over here. Probably just cut off a few of the miners. But I think this will probably be a shorter episode, but I hope you guys are at least happy to see some progress being made. And give it a couple, like 2 more episodes. I just want to get this hangar built with the welder, and then we'll be making our way into space. So I will see ya next time.